Hi everybody, welcome back to my budgeting videos. This is going to be for the paycheck from May 20th. I am a couple days late, but I went out of town and it was just, there was no time to sit down and budget. But luckily it's been a long weekend, so I have the extra day to catch up on things. So my balance when I started doing the math for the budget, $1,272.41. It's a bit lower than normal. So this paycheck, I was sick 2 days and I don't get paid sick days right now because I'm still on probation. So it actually matches, I think, my paycheck from last time because that one had 2 stats on it, and I get paid stats, but I'm paid out a percentage every paycheck in lieu of. So on the day of the stat, I'm not having money added to my paycheck, but it's because I've already been given it and it's up to me to keep it safely tucked to the side. So yeah, I'm working with a little bit less than normal, but we are going to make it work with, some minor adjustments here and there. So as always, the first thing I do is pull out part of my rent. Cat hair on this. There's cat hair on everything. Who am I kidding? $879.91. My cell phone, it's not actually due until I think like the last day of this month, but I got the text notification about it and I might as well just pay it now. Okay, and then I'm pulling out the percentage that I get every paycheck going, like that counts as vacation pay, since I don't have paid vacations yet either. So now normally this is where I would also be pulling out what got paid out on my pay stub for my stat pay, but I actually have to leave it in to make the budget work this time. And that's okay because last paycheck I actually didn't pull the money out that I put aside that goes towards stat pay because I was able to make the budget work without touching it. And I was like, if I can, that's great. I'll just leave it to build up in savings. But this time I need it, and I know it was sick days and not stat days for why I'm short on my paycheck, but I gotta fix it from somewhere. So I decided that's where I'm gonna fix it from. So I'm gonna leave the stat pay in to actually use for things. Okay. Minus 120 for my sinking funds. And then minus 53 for my savings challenge. And then minus 25 for my Wealth Simple investing. Which I gotta say, I know nothing about stock markets, which is why I invest in this way, but I know that it's not doing well when I go and take a look at the investments. I trust them to handle it. I mean, in 2020, when things kind of went low, it fixed and it was fine. So I've decided that I'm going to keep putting money into it, even though right now it looks as if it's not doing well, because I'm sure it's going to pick up at some point. So I think it's smart to continue to put money in. I hope it is. I don't know, kind of guessing. Parking money. Normally I pull out $80 for parking, but I actually, because of the 2 sick days and then the pay period before that, the 2 stat days, I had money that I had already pulled out to use for parking, but then didn't actually use, and I didn't spend it on anything else. So I counted it up, and I actually only need to pull out $46 for parking money. Oh, what happened there? 481.19 minus 46. There we go. Okay, so happy news. I got a phone call today that my SUV that I ordered way back last year in like June. It finally got fixed from the safety recall. It's landed at the dealership. Whatever it is that they had to do with it has been done, and it is there and ready for me. I'm very excited. I kind of don't believe it because they've called me before to say that it's ready for me or almost ready for me to come and get, and then had to call to be like, oops, our bad, it's not. So we'll see. But as of right now, I have an appointment for 3:30 tomorrow to go and pick it up, which is amazing. So I'm putting in $250 as an SUV payment just because I need to start building it into the budget that there's going to be a payment. Now I am going to ask to have it set up so the payment comes out like bi-weekly on my paycheck. And way back, the last time I purchased a vehicle and had payments, which was admittedly like a million years ago, I remember sort of, because it's not like I picked it up on payday, so we just arranged for the first payment to be when my next paycheck would be, and then it was kind of prorated to figure out that math. So I'm assuming something like that is going to happen again, but maybe not, because I just got paid on Friday and they might not want to wait a whole 2 weeks for it to go out. I'm really not sure. So I just wanted to make sure that I'm leaving $250 in the account for however that kind of plays out. And I'm just going to have to see as it goes. I'm doing, what am I doing? I've done something wrong. What have I done wrong? Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to be right back. I don't want to leave you sitting here while I'm watching while I'm trying to figure out what I have done wrong. So I will be right back. Hey guys, okay, I'm back. So before I do this sitting on camera, I like pre-do the math to sort of figure out what's going on. And in that pre-done math, I had a mistake, which means I have screwed up. But that's fine. It's totally fine. So originally, I was going to do a payment on my line of credit of $189.97, which, as you can see, would put me into the negative. Now, with the original math, what happened was the calculations, when I deducted out the line of credit payment, I don't know, I must have hit a key wrong, so it calculated the wrong amount. And so I originally was being left with $13.52 in the bank account, which admittedly is not great because, in case you haven't noticed, there's no food and there's no gas in this budget. The food, or lack thereof, is because I actually did a run down to the States with a friend on the weekend, and we hit up Trader Joe's. And any of you who know what Trader Joe's is knows that it's a purely magical place. And I spent a ridiculous amount of money on frozen food items, which is now sitting in my overstuffed freezer. So I'm kind of good for food for a while, except for, like milk and bread and like those basics. And then for gas, because of picking up the vehicle tomorrow, unless something goes wrong, I don't know what to budget for gas. I don't know how much is going to be in the tank when I pick up the vehicle. I have to figure out when I'm driving it how much I use. So I'm really just leaving it as like a blank and having to see once I get it and I've had it for, I guess, at least a week or so. I don't know. And then I figured I would decide what to do about gas within the budget at that point. So what I'm going to do, instead of putting $189.97 on the line of credit, I say that as if I haven't already made the payment. Oh no. Okay, so what I was going to do was instead just make $100 payment, and then, leave myself with $85.19 as a cushion. But I thought I was being so smart, and I've already like transferred my money and made my payments so that they were done to give them as much time as possible to process, because like cutoff times and everything. Oh, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, so let's just write it down as what happened. Okay. So I made a payment of $189.97 to my line of credit, which is leaving my account negative $4.78. Except, of course, it really isn't showing that because I haven't yet pulled out the parking money, and the SUV payment didn't actually go anywhere. It's sitting in the account. So, I mean, it looks worse than it is, but it's not great either. I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait and see what happens tomorrow at the dealership. And I'm going to see if we do, if, well, not we, but if they are like, no, 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 we can't wait 2 weeks. We're taking out a payment now. Or if they're cool with it. If they're cool with waiting, then I'm going to leave the 250 in the account as like my buffer for as everything else processes out, and then fix it next paycheck. And if they say no, they're taking a payment right away, it'll be fine, because when they take it tomorrow, I still will have money in there because things won't have processed out yet. And then when I get home, I will transfer money from the account that I put my stat percentage money into. I'll transfer some of that out and put it in here to cover and give myself a little bit of a buffer. So yeah, that happened. Oh, and I thought I was doing so well. Okay, well, let's move on to showing you the rest of the pages. So this is what I did for my little decorating for having paid off the student loan last paycheck. I'm still riding the high off of that and still very proud of myself, even though it's a thing that like millions of people do every day. I've already filled out my expense tracker. You can see a lot of this is Visa, which is crazy, right? Because normally I try to not use the Visa nearly as much as that. Now, on a happy note, if you can look at like how little debit transactions there were. I tried really, really hard to not actually do all that much shopping last week, not the week prior. A bunch of these are from the week prior. From like here down, that's, well, from there to like there, that's expenses from the States, because I prefer to use my credit card, because then it shows up better on the statement when I go out of country for like exchange rates and everything versus using my debit card. And these are all, I mean, like not necessities, but like some of them are presents and they're just things, right? We buy things, but it could be worse. It's usually worse this far into the month. So we're just going to pretend that this is somehow me doing better. I don't know. Oh, and then like texts coming through. So I wonder if that's going to mess up the recording. I guess we'll find out. I've already filled this in. So this isn't really a goal, but I put into the goal section about getting the RAV4, mostly just because I wanted it noted somewhere really noticeable, so that if I ever need to remember when I started payments, things like that. I filled in the income, sinking funds, and savings challenge savings money over there. I already filled in the bills that were paid. My cell phone, I think if you remember, I thought it was going to be due there. Very, very wrong. It's due there. You can see I didn't put food or transportation because I just don't know yet. Down here, the only credit or loan bill thing to put down was the line of credit, which is kind of crazy, and you know, because of all these student loan ones usually. So that's pleasant. And then way over here, I've already filled out the savings tracker. This is the travel one. You can see there I had to pull out $120, and I'm super upset about that. The bank made a mistake when I deposited my tax refund check, and they entered in a higher amount for the value of the check than what I was depositing. And it took them forever to fix it. And I kept telling them, I need you to tell me when you're going to process it. I need to make sure that there's enough money in my bank account so I don't go into a negative balance when you adjust this. But they didn't. Of course they didn't. They told me after it was done. So they like deducted out the full amount of like the incorrect amount that they put in, and then redeposited the correct amount, which left my bank account in negative. And I check my bank account fairly regularly, so I checked it and I saw, and I panicked, and I just picked an account and I pulled money out of it to put into my regular bank account to kind of cover, to get me out of the negative, because I was just freaking out. So that's that. The hope is that I will repay it, obviously. But on like a happy note, look at how much money I have sitting in my travel fund, which is great because, oh, things are coming up. This is the decorating I did for the student loan. I know it's maybe childish to some people, but it's my last student loan. I'm actually very proud of myself for paying it off. Then line of credit. Oh, I didn't put my payment. I did make the payment, as we all just saw with that debacle. So I'll go in and I'll add that in a minute. And then I didn't put anything on the Visa. And then over here is a little check marky part. So yeah, it's all done. I've started a new line for the RAV4 hybrid payment, and I purposely did it in like a much more noticeable ink than all the rest of them, because again, I want to make sure that I can easily come back to remembering when I first started making payments. It's not filled in there yet, obviously, because I haven't actually made the payment. And also, even though I know how much the vehicle is bi-weekly as of right now, you know it's going to go up because I'm going to get there and they're going to be like, well, once we get the insurance and, or the not the insurance, like the warranty and the this and the that, and they were already trying to pressure me on the phone about getting like a paint sealant for extending the life of my vehicle. And I don't know enough about these things to know what's a scam and what's not. So I just have to hope that like my gut can see me through. Which is not a good way to be buying a vehicle. Don't follow my example at all. Yes, but okay, so here we go. This is the budget. I made mistakes, but I'm human. It happens. I will fix them. And yes, that is pretty much it. I hope your guys' budget is going well and that you did not make mistakes the same way that I did for this pay period. And yeah, I guess that's it. Have a great next couple weeks. I will see you when I do my June setup. I keep saying I'm going to do setup videos and then I don't. So we're going to try to do a June setup video. So I will see you then. Otherwise, I will see you in 2 weeks for the next budget. Talk to you later, guys. Stay safe out there. Bye.